Hello and welcome to the program from the National Assembly. I am Mitaire Ikpen. The 2025 Appropriation Bill of 49.7 trillion naira has passed second reading in the National Assembly and will undergo further consideration by the committees of appropriation of both chambers. The year 2024 witnessed several citizens' engagements by the House of Representatives, and to wrap up the year, the leadership of the House had an interactive session with a cross-section of Nigerians to give a scorecard which it calls State of the House 2024. On the program today, we will bring you the highlights of that citizens' engagement.
Memory that a year is rolling out, but we need to reflect on the year. And so, on behalf of Nigerians, I dare to say, I'd like to welcome you all to this first State of the House 2024 program from the Library of the House of Representatives here in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. So, let's get it started.
On behalf of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abuja GCOM, and the leadership of the House, warmly welcome you to this important session. Today, we come together to engage with you, the very citizens we represent, to share insights on our legislative activities since the mid-year presentation of our scorecard. This session embodies our commitment to an open parliament where active citizen participation is pivotal in shaping our legislative journey. I want to express our heartfelt gratitude to our partners, especially the Ford Foundation, the National Assembly Library Trust Fund, and the Nigerian Television Authority for their invaluable support in making this program a reality. In July 2024, the House of Representatives hosted a week-long open parliament initiative where we presented our legislative scorecards and invited Nigerians from diverse backgrounds to evaluate our efforts, share our perspectives, and provide constructive suggestions. The feedback gathered was instrumental in refining our operations, particularly in oversight, constituency outreach, constitutional review, and representation. The positive outcomes of this initiative have inspired today's State of the House interactive session, a platform to update you on our progress and extend our best wishes for the upcoming year. This session serves multiple objectives. First, to provide a thorough update on our activities since our last gathering. Second, to convey our sincere appreciation for the invaluable support and feedback we have received from citizens through public hearings, constituency interactions, and channels. And lastly, to reaffirm our steadfast commitment to transparency, accountability, and inclusiveness. We stand before you today because you have entrusted us with the vital responsibility of voicing our concerns. Democracy thrives when the people actively engage. Over the past 18 months, from July 2023 to December 2024, the House has shown unwavering dedication to its legislative agenda. Key achievements include the introduction of 1,351 bills, marking the highest number presented in any first session since 1999. From these, 89 bills were successfully passed, showcasing our commitment to legislative efficiency. Noteworthy among these are the Electricity Act Amendment Bill 2023, which encourages investments in renewable energy and enhances the power sector's efficiency. The Federal Audit Service Act Amendment Bill 2023, which strengthens financial oversight and combats corruption. The Administration of Criminal Justice Acts Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, which modernizes our criminal justice system to ensure fairness and uphold human rights, and the Control of Small Arms Weapons Bill 2023, aimed at bolstering national security and curbing violence. Moreover, we have made significant advances in regional and sectoral development. The Niger Delta Development Commission Act Amendment Bill 2023 and the Southeast Development Commission Establishment Bill 2023 prioritized regional development and socio-economic growth. The Nigerian Medical Research Council Establishment Bill 2023 fosters advancements in healthcare delivery. Social sector reforms include the Federal Fire and Rescue Service Bill 2023, enhancing emergency response capabilities, and the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act 2024, addressing barriers to accessing tertiary education. The House has consistently demonstrated its commitment to oversight and public engagement. By July 2024, our committees had conducted numerous public hearings, processing a total of 679 motions, of which 672 were referred to committees for further action, reflecting a vigorous legislative process. Furthermore, committees undertook 107 oversight visits to ministries, departments, and agencies, ensuring accountability and alignment with our legislative goals. Over the past year, the House addressed 240 public petitions and resolved 40 cases, highlighting our responsiveness to the concerns of citizens. The 10th House has played a vital role in mediating conflicts, notably facilitating dialogues with the Nigerian Labour Congress about nationwide strikes, resolving disputes with the Nigerian Union of Teachers to minimize disruptions in the education sector, and engaging with the Nigerian Medical Association to address crucial healthcare issues. These interventions underscore our commitment to fostering harmony across various sectors. In addition, we have actively advocated for gender equality and necessary constitutional reforms. The House has championed increased representation of women in governance and partnered with organizations such as UN Women to promote gender equality. On 10th October 2024, in a symbolic gesture, the Speaker vacated his seat for a 3-year-old girl to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child. The Constitutional Review Committee, led by the Deputy Speaker, continues to engage with stakeholders on pivotal issues including local government autonomy, electoral reform, and judicial independence. I think we have shown very clearly that the House continues to do its work in line with the Constitution and other provisions that have been made in our legislative agenda and our relevant documents. It is therefore my pleasure, on behalf of the Speaker of the 10th House, Under whose leadership, the House remains a vibrant, united, focused, and energized institution, to welcome you to this interactive session and pray that we have come here in peace and we go to our respective destinations in peace after this program. Thank you very much and welcome.
Our masters and leaders of Nigeria, both here and at home. Let me say that as the leader of the minority, that we are elated that this is happening this night. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And for the first time this is happening, it's a practical show of what democracy should be. One of the agenda of the 10th Assembly is to ensure that we have an open National Assembly. And what we have insisted is that we should be a little bit more transparent and open to Nigerian people. Let them understand what we do in National Assembly. Let them have access to members of the National Assembly. And this is exactly to fulfill that demand. So for us, we hope and pray that having started this, that it should continue. And we can assure you that as long as we remain as members of the opposition, we will ensure that we push the House to continue this program. Again, let me also plead with all our leaders and members of the National Assembly here present that this program should be localized. While we do this at the national level, let us make it as a matter of policy in the National Assembly that every parliamentarian has to go back home and have this open National Assembly program, because we have called ourselves the People's House. And so we must begin to relate very closely with the Nigerian people. We are grateful and we thank God for this night. And we pray that our gathering here will add value to our country, Nigeria. Thank you very much.
It should be a mixed group where we can have the majority and the minority working together.
Let me start by appreciating our former presiding officers for by us, teaching us, mentoring us on what we ought to do and what we ought not to do. Thank you so much for coming. For all Nigerians, we say thank you for viewing us on this very important program. And we look forward to more and more engagements of this nature in the coming year 2025. Well, to say important bills, which ones are better? It all depends on who you are talking to. One bill may be important to one person, it could be of less importance to another. But for me as a person, so I'm not speaking for the House as far as this is concerned, because every bill to me is important. If it is not important, it shouldn't have gone through the legislative process in the House for it to be accepted by Mr. President. But the ones that I'm sure we could say are popular, by my own judgment, are bills that have to do like minimum wage amendment bill, which double the national minimum wage of all public workers in the country and even private. I'm sure that bill, if we are to raise today, perhaps it will come number one because of the reach and the significance and the impact it makes in the lives of our public servants in the country. Again, another bill that comes to my mind that is of great significance is the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Act, which established a framework for accessing loans covering university education and also vocational training. Surprisingly, this act does not just provide for conventional tertiary education. It also includes those who are in vocational training, those who are doing diplomas, those who are doing other certificates that are of vocational nature. This act has captured it. I believe the impact it has started making in the lives of our young ones is inestimable. Because from the records, those who have accessed the loan this year alone are more than 100,000. So that is to say that this bill is of great significance to our dear country. Again, another bill that comes to mind that is also of very, very great significance is the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention Amendment Act, which also tends to strengthen our cyber security apparatus to combat rising cyber threats in the country. Just of recent, I was told that one of the agencies of government was compromised, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? This is just to tell you the kind of threat that internationally agencies and establishments are facing from people of the black world. And bringing this amendment at this material time is a very good one. It will help to significantly, if not eliminate, all forms of cyber crimes in the country. And another bill that is of great importance to me and significance is the Judicial Office Holders Salaries and Allowances Bill, which ensures that fair compensation for judicial officers are made to uphold independence and efficiency. You will all agree with me that judges that are not well taken care of are in danger of being compromised. And the last bastion of people in every society is the judiciary. Where you don't have an effective judiciary, you may not have a nation. So this bill is of great importance, and we're very pleased to be associated with the improvement in the salaries, allowances, and welfare packages of our judicial officers in the country. Again, another bill that to me is of great importance is the Traditional Complementary and Alternative Medicine Council Bill, which seeks to give us an alternative to the orthodox medicine and provide a better platform for traditional medicine practitioners to have standards of which they can operate. What we have earlier than that is that anything goes. No dosage, no prescription at the right quantity. Everyone says what you want. At the end of the day, in an attempt to cure, you endanger your life the more. So this bill is also of great importance to this country, and I'm sure Nigerians have started reaping the benefits of that. Again, another bill that is of great bills that are of great importance are the zonal development commissions, which already Mr. President has assented to two. That's the Northeast Development Commission Bill, Act now, and the Southeast Development Act. Other four bills are already at the final stage of ascension, and they are the South-South, the Southwest, the North-Central, and the North-Central Development Bills. These bills are of great significance to this country, because if the four others are signed into law, this country will have a significant boost, particularly in providing infrastructure across the country and also stemming the threat of insecurity and other vices. So in summary, those are the ones that come to my mind, but I believe if you ask some of my colleagues here, they may speak differently from what I have. But to me, these are the ones that I can say are of more significance to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is also a guideline on how to perform the oversight. The results of your oversight will be presented to the House on your result. And I believe this has been going on very, very well. As I said in my address, we've had over 107 of such visits, and several of these have been on issues of economic stability, institutional consolidation, and security. Especially, we invite some of the leaderships in the MDA, the ministries, departments, and agencies, to the House for a conversation, and that can be a form of oversight. But more importantly, we go out to see what the money we appropriated of the used for. You visit, you match the project against the appropriation to be sure it has not been changed in between. And the essential thing is to ensure that we're getting value for money. And I think this has helped to create, to solve the issues of corruption, the issue of mislocation of projects, the issue of poor quality work, and the issue of contractors that have abandoned their respective assignments. In terms of security, as you know, members have visited different security agencies and installations, essentially to ensure that the officers in charge are utilizing funds. We've increased budgets, the last budget of 4 trillion naira. This current budget, the president has proposed even an increase in security because it affects every sector. When there's no security, agriculture suffers, education suffers, public service suffers, tourism suffers, investment suffers. And for the House, we have a focused approach to ensuring that every oversight visit is targeted at solving the problem, in addition to ensuring that we get value for money and then sort out waste and corruption and misplaced priorities. I would also add that, yes, there have been problems in some areas. When I was chairman basic education, there were states I couldn't visit. And some governors will tell us, I can't guarantee your security, please don't come here to come and visit the schools. So the security situation, as you can see, dovetails into education and creates a problem in the efficiency of performance of our legislative responsibility. So I will leave it there for the comment.
From what you've said, yes, it's going on, but even in cases where it couldn't take place, it's not for lack of willingness, desire, or determination, but for either logistical or security problems.
And our major concern is the low number of women in the parliament. And this 10th assembly happened to be one of the lowest, with only about 16 women in the parliament. And that shows that instead of us going up, we are really going down. And we have instituted a lot of activities and programs in ensuring that the 11th Assembly will be a different one. We are doing a lot of advocacy work. We are doing a lot of lobbying with our members, both at the federal level and the subnational level, trying to pass that message across that enough is enough. The time has come when women should be given their rightful place. And I sincerely believe, that at the end, when we come for the constitutional referendum, we should be able this time around to be able to pass all those bills that are gender-related for the country to move forward.
But
very excited moment, yes.
I notice you're really smiling.
I am.
Finding it difficult to control yourself.
We've noticed that out of the 36 states in the country, including the FCT, most of the governors are in sync with the legislature and the need to improve on the security of our people. And as you know, the primary purpose of government is to protect lives and properties and ensure the welfare of our citizens. And so it's on the front burner, the issues that we handle in the parliament. Every other thing will fail if the foundation, which is supposed to be on peace and security and welfare of our people and unity, is missing. Therefore, the House, in our legislative agenda, have prioritized the issue of security. And based on that, we decided in April, just not too long ago, to have a national dialogue on the pathway to peace, reimaging policing in Nigeria. That was the theme engagement, and it gave us the opportunity of gathering experts and scholars into a room and the public to look at what is happening within that space. How do they want us to tailor it to reflect the desires of Nigerians? That engagement, that national dialogue was a productive one, and the participation was robust. Beyond that, we also recently, I think it was in November, second week of November, had another engagement we call the technical section, where we brought in heads of security agencies across the country to look at the possibility of reviewing overlapping legislation that has affected the efficiency of their operations across board. And we were able to see one or two areas to, work on, so as through synergy, we can achieve more. Through collaboration between the security agencies, we'll be able to achieve more. And beyond that, to show that the area of security is actually very important to the Parliament. We recently, with the support of development partners, sent some of our members from the House to Germany to look at how they have succeeded with their state police in their country. And those ones we sent to Germany, they are back. And they are working well with our technical sections, especially with the constitutional review, because state policing is one of the thematic areas for our constitutional amendments. And we want to make an informed decision with regards to that space. And so the feedback that we've gotten from participants' observation, by going to Germany, spending time with them, knowing where they failed, how they succeeded, is going to inform the direction we'll go. So that the document that will come out at the end of the day will be a document that is based on research, comparative analysis, the input of Nigerians, and those who have thrived in those areas and succeeded. I'm still talking about security. When my boss, the speaker, was speaking, he was mentioning certain legislation that are significant. And one of the ones that comes to mind, in addition to what he has done, is this control of small arms and light weapons bill. And the aim of that bill is to curb illegal arms proliferation in the country. So when you talk about security, there is nothing in the space to guide the small arms proliferation. I mean, they are placing something on nothing and expecting it to exist, and it will not exist. Another one that comes to mind also is the Armed Forces Act Amendment bill, which enhances military professional standards. At all times, the world, changes, is dynamic. So we look at realities, best global practices, and see how we can, through our laws, put those standards in place to guide the operationalization of the armed forces mandate. And also beyond that, I'm sure he mentioned it in passing, but we have also done something in the space of cyber security legislation, which has been improved to address modern threats, because the threat of yesterday and the threat of today are not the same. And we also be futuristic about the threats that will come tomorrow. And therefore, we must, in view of what is happening now and what we suspect that is going to happen tomorrow, have a legislative intention that will curb that. So through laws, we know that wars and violence have gone beyond physical. It has gone to cyber. And making laws that will be able to guide our cyberspace is also good. Beyond that, let me also mention that in the wisdom of the speaker, he has also, adopted an engagement that took place a couple of weeks ago, which has to do with non-kinetic strategies. In Southeast, I've been preaching a non-kinetic approach to resolution of conflict there. The military, they are involved, adopting it, the police and all the armed forces. And the speaker said the House need also to add our voice to that. And it was a robust engagement, which, international exchanges with German parliament, and all the rest of them, workshops on innovation solutions around that space was also very instrumental in the discussion. So that's what we have done in the security space, and I'm sure others will add to that.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Additionally, it will be of interest to the general public to know that because of the importance we accord to security, we decided just not quite 2 weeks ago, created a special committee on peace building and social cohesion. It is in line with our legislative agenda and part of the security aspects of our agenda to ensure that when we are talking about crimes, we should also come up with institutional mechanisms that will ensure that we have a committee that will be dedicated on peace building and social cohesion. And additionally, out of all the bills that the leader of the House mentioned, it will interest the general public to know that 25% of the bills so far sponsored by members of the House are security related. And 27% of the over 600 motions that we deliberated upon were all related to security. That was to tell you how serious, how committed the 10th Assembly is to issue security.
Just very quickly so that we close on this, because community policing is one thing, the military is another. A soldier is trained to take out a target that's known. Today, that target is embedded in many communities. It's become asymmetrical. Therefore, only community policing, only people in a place know those who are their strangers, know somebody who wasn't there 6 months ago, and that's why we must support and commend the House and demand that this traction should only be pushed further. It is community policing on which everything lies. You are bringing in the military to be for a backup. So let's give the House a round of applause for the efforts in this regard, please.
Well, security is an imperative for investment, for life, for whatever. So we thank the House, for the seriousness attached to it. I would want to go to...
Naturally.
Yes. I would want an interactive session, we did say, and it's about time that let's hear Nigerians speak, because after all, we elected them.
Yes.
So an opportunity for citizens' engagement. Let's hear from Nigerians.
Well, my name is Mukhtar Ibrahim German Zazzau, and special advisor to the Kaduna State Governor on Chieftaincy. I'm here to represent the Emir of Zazzau.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My question here is, Right Honorable Sir, what are the position of the traditional institute in Nigeria, please? I know you are championing it, but what are the position now, sir? Thank you.
Next. Who is? Representative of the foundation, yeah?
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and all the very important leadership of the House. Tonight I'm a little bit sad because...
I would want us to go straight to the question.
I will.
Please, my brother.
There is a missed opportunity. About 3 million Nigerians who are listening, who are watching you are not hearing you.
Okay.
And it's very sad that we don't have a sign language interpreter.
Thank you. Noted, sir. Noted.
So my question is simple. What are the House goals, timelines, and strategy for enhancing representation of persons with disability in the elected position? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, you can only take the microphone when I recognize who to ask the question. Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Lami Tumaka. My question is, what policies have been enacted to what policies have been enacted to improve?
She came very prepared. Yes.
To improve healthcare services across the country.
Thank you very much. Can we take those three? And
No. Let's just
more.
Yeah, let's take about
Right.
2, 3 more.
I recognize the newly installed NUJ president. Here, I can recognize him from here.
Thank you, the Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alassane Yaya. I'm the NUJ president. I have one question and one suggestion. What are the process has the House made on the constitutional review process, and how is the House strengthening Nigerian democratic institution and electoral laws? And my suggestion is on in 2025. I'm hopeful that we are going to prioritize. The bill that is going to prioritize is a bill that is going to be of a media enhancement bill, a bill that is going to talk towards improving remuneration for the fourth extent of the rim. It is one profession that is neglected in Nigeria, and it is hopeful that in 2025, it is our prayers that the House will come up with such bill whereby salaries and wages or allowances of Nigerian journalists is going to be considered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want a young person.
Yes, a young person.
A young
voice,
come
forward
please.
to the person behind the president who just spoke.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. All protocols duly observed. My name is Isabel Anani, and I wanted to ask, so far, what bills and what policies has the House put in place to ensure that children's rights are put in front and center, especially since most times in rural areas, these are foreign concepts and things that are not talked about. So what has the House done this year, and what is the House planning to do next year to ensure that maternal and children health rights are protected, even in rural areas? Thank you.
Thank you. Another young person, before we come forward to the gentleman behind the NUJ president who is in blue.
Good evening. Standing on all existing protocol, my name is Adesonya Toluwalashe, and my question is, what is the House doing, or what has the House done in order to properly and adequately address the issue of domestic violence against women and children? Because it has been a plague that has been destroying the lives of way too many Nigerian women and children for too many years. So what is the House doing, and what do they plan on doing to address this issue? Thank you.
So we'll take that.
Yes, I think we can take this set now. Yes. Over to the House. Several questions on several variants of human endeavor that have been asked. Would you want to start, sir? All right, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Let me take the first one. The question was on the position of the House on issues, on the issue of traditional institutions. My dear brother, if you could remember, I visited the Palace of at the inception of my term as Speaker, and I gave him a commitment that we will come back to the House, persuade all members to see the reason why traditional institutions should have a role in the next dispensation. And to God be the glory, today I want to assure you that we are covering a lot of milestones. We have created a committee on traditional institutions for the very first time in the Parliament. And the committee has 6 members plus Abuja so that we give it a national coverage. And the committee has been going around engaging with traditional institutions and engaging with even subnationals, trying to sell the idea of how we can be able to create a niche where the traditional institutions can be able to play a role in the next dispensation. And we have had a lot of interactions, even here within the National Assembly, where the traditional institutions were invited, and they came and contributed, and they submitted a lot of memorandum and documents in support of creating a constitutional role for them. So we are on the right track, and I believe by the time we come to the level of the memorandum, a lot of support would have been generated for it to actually pass both the level of the National Assembly and the state assemblies as well.
Any other? Yeah? Any question any of us would prefer to take among those delivered?
Let me
yes, please.
Take the issue raised by our brother Jake. Firstly, let me very sincerely apologize, but you recall that the 10th Assembly is the first to introduce sign language during parliamentary sitting. We have somebody who does that, supposed to be here this night, and you will also observe that we started slightly late. We are trying to wait to see if he could come, but he's unable to make it. So it's not that intentionally we did not get a sign language person to be part of this ceremony. We do it in chambers, and I can say that the 10th Assembly is the start. And then to also assure you, even in our budget this year, incidentally, I'm chairman of that subcommittee that is going around to look at the entire House of Representatives, to look at areas where we need to cause some amendment to be friendly to persons with disability, including our lobbies, toilets, offices, stage, and all that. So that is being considered by the House. We are not unfriendly at all to persons with disability. Thank you.
And additionally, for the very first time, the 10th Assembly has seen it expeditious to appoint an SA for disabilities. We have a senior advisor disabilities to the Speaker, and he also has 3 other special senior legislative aides working along with him.
I see.
And the 2025 budget that we are about to start deliberating on, we already have a proposal where the whole entire National Assembly will become disability friendly, providing platforms where disabled people can be able to access easily.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any outstanding questions?
Well,
yes, please.
The issue of domestic violence.
And then young people, let's not forget that.
By one of our young people. We, as a house, took it up long ago, working with civil society organizations to prioritize bills that would address the fact we have 2 bills, one on sexual harassment of tertiary institutions and public institutions, which I believe have got to the Senate for concurrence, and we have one on gender-based violence, specifically. And this has also gone up to the Senate. But beyond that, we are also of the view in the House that it is through education and economic empowerment that you enlighten people to the extent that they begin to respect each other in the workplace and beyond. And I think a lot of the bills and motions you see in the House have to do with one form of economic empowerment and economic liberation.
Thank you very much. Any other reaction?
Oh yes, the issue with Child's Rights Act and all that. The current 10th Assembly, in the wisdom of the Speaker, has prioritized the issue as relates to human rights and law reforms, which directly implicate on the child's rights. And again, it should be noted that that element is also a shared feature of the assemblies. Most states have made laws on the Child Rights Act or child rights law at the state level to assist young persons, especially those within the age bracket of children, so they can be protected from violence and their rights can be guaranteed as enshrined in the Constitution. And again, even the Constitutional Reforms Committee is also looking at those issues that affect children directly.
Thank you.
Let me say something on the child rights as well as the gender-related violence. In addition to what my colleagues have said, with regards to the Child Rights Act, the law that we have in that space is strong. What is our major concern is the domestication of these laws in our various states. Over the years, we have found out that the parliament at the federal level will make good laws. But when we carry out our post-legislative scrutiny, the result always comes up that implementation of these, they are not giving wheels by the states. Take for example, we unbundled power from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. Only few states have domesticated it by making their own state laws that will enable them leverage the opportunities in that sector. The same with rail line, the same with other aspects of our law. The same thing with child rights. Most states have not domesticated it the way it's supposed to be. So that is pushing the ball now to the state legislators. We are the federal. Once we intervene, make sure that it gets to the grassroots. So that is what we are. Now, when it comes to gender, these parliaments have done a lot in that space. Gender-based violence, we have partnered with a lot of NGOs and development partners in pushing. For example, let me mention this. We call that bill Mandatory Inclusion of Preventive Measures and Teachings on Sexual Gender-Based Violence into the curriculum of all levels of secondary schools in Nigerian bill. It's a bill. This is the name of a bill. So we have included, the primary objective of that bill is to put a mandatory preventive measures and teachings on sexual and gender-based violence into our civic education curriculum in all the schools, secondary schools in Nigeria. And beyond that, we also passed another one, which we also, through the advocacy support of development partners, we passed what we call the Anti-Sexual Harassment in Tertiary Education Institutions Bill. And the bill was enacted to promote and uphold ethical standard in tertiary education, safeguard the student against sexual harassment by educators. If you listen to the news, you see some of the harassment that our children face in the universities. And when we saw that, we went back, the speaker insisted we must get a law that will protect our children in school. And that was how that particular law came out. So we are doing something within that space to make sure that the protection of our children is enhanced.
Thank you very much. And that's why it's important for us to know that until things start happening at the sub-national, we cannot go as fast as we would want them implement. So implementation is very key. I'll go back to the...
Excuse me,
yes,
madam. There's a question that has not been answered. I think he's nodding his head. On constitution, it's a procedure for constitution review. And it happens that by the...
That's from the NUJ president?
Yeah.
Okay.
The procedure for constitution review happened by the grace of the House. I'm the chairman of the Constitution Review Committee. And the procedure of constitutional amendment by our Constitution is that the House is allowed to amend the Constitution. The Senate and the House, that's the National Assembly, we are energized by the mandate of the Constitution to amend the Constitution. And the process is, once the committee set out to work, we call for memoranda. And we receive the memoranda, we go back, look at them, outline them in their thematic areas, and based on that, we're going to go into engagement with the public. And what we have done severally has been to have sort of town hall or sectorial engagement. We've done that on local government, we've done that with the youth, we've done that with the women, we've done that on state police, and all the thematic areas, we pick them one by one, and we gather stakeholders, because we have a list we call the stakeholders engagement list. We come into a room, we'll talk about it, but beyond that, we also lobby the parliament at the state level by making sure they are involved in the process, because by the virtue of the provisions of the Constitution, we cannot pass the amendment of the Constitution on our own. It needs the input of the House of Assembly at the state. So we brought them in at the earlier stage to make sure that they are part and parcel of what we are doing. So what is going to happen now, where we are now with our Constitution, is that we have received these memoranda, we have analyzed them into thematic areas, we have to engage the Houses of Assembly to be part of our committee. We are now proceeding to do town hall meetings that will go into the geopolitical zones across the country. So we have selected 2 locations in each of the geopolitical zones to come and engage with the public, which means if we come to a geopolitical zone, 2 states. We'll come to state 1, we have about 3 states there, come together to engage. We'll harvest your opinion. After that, we'll go back to the House, work on that. In order to give you that element, the preamble of the Constitution said, we the people of Nigeria, we don't want to just sit here and dump a document on you. So it's through various engagement that we'll be able to get that. After that, it will go back to the House for voting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Police would like to plead that we have such a limited time, particularly on live television. Our time is going so fast.
Sorry, Moji. Because the issue is now on subnational government, and you know that 2 years ago, there was...
Prof, I'm going to give you only 10 seconds to speak.
Yeah, I've just taken up the 10 seconds.
No, go ahead.
No. You know there was a People's Summit?
Yes, I recognize you. Please, when I recognize you, can you be upstanding? The man in blue, the woman with the freedom hair. Yes, the woman with the short hair. Yes, and the youth here, and of course the gentleman with the gray hair is the only one that is, exhibiting the gray hair in front. Yes, sir.
As the NIPR president.
Yes, the president of NIPR. That's my president, by the way, sir. So I need to recognize, to make him speak as well. Please make this fast.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Ahmad Sajo. I'm a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, even though my president is here. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and the leadership, for allowing us citizens to oversight you as you oversight the executive. Now, the question I have is that, the bedrock of every development in a nation, the foundation is infrastructure. We've had this infrastructure deficit for too long. Roads, power, and housing. How does the 10th Assembly plan to ensure appropriate oversight to give the Nigerian people, to reduce the infrastructure deficit to a level that the Nigerian people would be comfortable with roads, power, and housing?
Thank you.
How do you ensure value for money?
Thank you. Can I go straight? Yes, thank you. Okay. Can we have your question, please?
Thank you. My name is Grace Ike, Chairman NUGFCT. My question is on the economy. What legislative measures have been put in place to stabilize the economy, strengthen the Naira, and control inflation? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I have just a moment? The man in the gray hair that we have here. Sorry, gray hair. Yes, I insist.
Come forward, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. 2 quick things. First, to commend Mr. Speaker and his team for this laudable initiative. As a PR person, what is important to me is to what extent you engage with the citizens. So please assure us that this is not one and that's it, that you are coming back to engage with us. The leader of the House alluded to it. Minority leader said so. How do we ensure that you have a strategic plan to continue with this wonderful initiative We look forward to come back here in 2025.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'd like the youth now. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Abdul Samad Kiari, and my question is: how has the House ensured increased public funding for public schools, for public education?
Increase public funding for public
Increase
schools,
public
right?
funding for public institutions. Yes. Can I please just go back to the crowd and the audience? You need to be quiet so that we can have one house. One house. One house, please.
Very quickly.
Yeah, quickly, please.
Thank you very much, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and invited guest. My name is Azizat Ishao, the Speaker of the Nigerian Youth Parliament. So I'll go straight to the point, sir.
Okay, Speaker, ask and speak. Okay.
My apologies again, sir. According to data available, we know that we have a very large number of vibrant labor force filled with young people between the age of 15 and 29. And recent events has also showed that young people are not readily or effectively engaged. So my question to the House is, how is the People's House ensuring that the budget allocation addresses the issue of underemployment or unemployment among young people, access to education and skill development? Thank you.
Next, please. Next, please, quickly.
Good evening, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, distinguished guests. My name is Ehosa Ero from the National Talent Export Program. My question is, how is the House supporting job creation, creating employment, and also enabling the environment for service export?
Yes. There's a young lady behind you. Yes. Directly, please, can you take the microphone back? Here. Take the microphone back.
Okay.
Thank you.
The Right Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, my name is Kemi Yusufu. I'm representing the Guild of Corporate Online Publishers. My question is for the Majority Leader, Professor Julius Yonvere, and it borders on the issue of separation of powers. And it seems that the National Assembly, especially in the 9th and 10th Assembly, has struggled with the reputation of being a rubber stamp legislature. So will you also consider the 10th House? Is it right for me as a journalist and observer from outside to describe the 10th House as a rubber stamp house? Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentleman behind you. Yes, please. Chijoke, right behind you, right behind you, right behind you. His hand has been up for a while.
My name is Imano Vabore. We have a coinage in Nigeria now called Jakpa. And the bedrock of every nation is the youth. And they are busy Jakpaing every day. And that's a dangerous signal. So my question has to do with, what steps have you been taking to ensure that the youth participate in governance and policy making in Nigeria? Thank you.
Point made.
Thank you very much. I want to come back to this side of the hall, yes for your answers to some of the questions raised.
Let me kickstart the answering of the questions, beginning with the first question asked on infrastructural deficit. What is the House doing about it? First and foremost, I want our audience to know that 19% of all the whole NTA motions sponsored in 2024, January to December, were largely on infrastructure. 11% of all the NTA bills sponsored by members in 2024 are also infrastructure related. That goes to show you the concern the House have on issue of infrastructure in this country. But beyond that, we all know, we are a legislature. We have limits to what we can do. We can come with the best legislation. But implementation could be another thing. 2 days ago, I made a statement during my closing remark when Mr. President visited us. This is a country where our budget is extremely, extremely low compared to our needs. We have more than 1,000 agencies. And the total budget, if you look at it, you find that it does not satisfy up to 20% of the requirement of each and every agency we have in this country. So for us to be able to have better infrastructures, we need to expand our revenue base. That is the number one area where we have to work on. Unless we have enough revenue, we cannot be able to go far in building our infrastructures the way we would want. I don't know whether any member will have any addition to this particular.
Yes, I think
the lady, please.
The lady, please.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. I will like to digress more on the issue of gender inclusion. And that is because the audience are looking forward to more intervention by the People's House on gender inclusion. And balance political participation and power sharing between men and women is an internationally agreed target in the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. And in line with that, I want to assure the audience that this House and the leadership of the 10th Assembly is echoing a resounding democracy towards that. One of those things is that even the 2021 Gender Equality Bill, which has not seen the light of the bill, has been revisited, and the Constitutional Review Committee, which I am also a member, is actively engaging all stakeholders that are not among equals, but the Right Honourable Speaker has navigated his ways that at this particular stage, the chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee, who is the Deputy Speaker, is here, that almost 80% of members are not averse to passing the bill. But notwithstanding, we have not relented in our personal lobby. We have had a lot of advocacies about 10 engagements with different international partners, civil society organizations, and other relevant partners. And this is all in an effort to ensure, and the belief the House has, that when there are greater participation of women in Parliament, there is quality representation, quality democracy, there is accountability. And again, more so, you could see that in Africa, Nigeria is the giant of Africa, that is the saying goes. But if you look at the whole of Africa, starting from Rwanda, who has about 69% of women as a result of the quota system, going down to Tanzania, 50%, Uganda, Zimbabwe, all the African countries, South Africa, South Sudan has been maintaining the proportional representation for decades. And equally, even in the smaller countries like Seychelles, Mauritius, Nigeria is the only country that has less than 10% representation of women. All others from 30, 50, 60, and 10%. And Mr. Speaker is someone that has been very familiar with parliamentary democracy, and he has participated in a lot of parliamentary organizations, and as a matter of that, he has taken it.
I hate to stop the woman, but I know your passion, and I'm sure. And
very simply,
yes,
there is three things that I want you to know.
Yes, ma'am. You need to round it up.
Yes, there are three things I want you to know that this House is doing. One is the People's House is working on advanced legislative drafting, because we are complaining that we don't even want to see issues of disparity even in the bills, where you said he or she in the Constitution. We want a neutral how you address. For instance, if you say Mr. Speaker, you can say Madam Speaker. Speaker is Speaker. The Senate President, we are okay with. But not when you are addressing he that in the Constitution, and these are all issues. And another thing is that the issue of gender-sensitive budgeting. Mr. Speaker has put it as a policy that any appropriation, any bill that is coming to the House going forward must pass through the gender test before it reaches the chambers. So meaning that whatever we are doing, this House is very, very conscious of the gender aspect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, because
we have to release infrastructure now.
Yes, please.
You want us to say something?
Yes, please. If it can be within 2 minutes.
2 minutes on infrastructure.
You haven't spoken.
One of the things we have done in infrastructure is that the House, under the leadership of the Speaker, we have moved for the establishment of regional development commissions.
Thank you.
So that development can trickle down to the grassroots in terms of power, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of technology, in terms of agricultural support, and all the rest of them. And Mr. President has partnered with the Parliament in approving those, assenting to those bills. So now we have Southwest, we have Southeast, we have Northeast, we have Northwest. We are hoping that South-South will follow suit, as well as North-Central. So with that, infrastructure can go down to the
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Yes, I'd like him to come on behalf
Yes,
of...
let him.
We haven't heard from
Spoken,
him.
yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, kindly adjust your mic. Yes, please.
Just to add to what Mr. Speaker have said about the infrastructure, the roads, the hospitals, the schools, I want to say that yes, these decays are there, and the contribution of the members of the Parliament have really strengthened, or rather have improved some of these institutions through what we call zonal intervention of all the members, right from the Senate to the House of Reps. This zonal intervention is an intervention that helps in the rehabilitation, construction of even hospitals, roads, schools, mention them, trainings, acquisition of skills for the, our young youths and women. And this has really helped, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I know that the minority leader, can you do it in 1 minute, sir?
Quickly, to add on this infrastructure, which is very important, we have insisted and persisted that for every budget that comes before us, the overhead cost must come down and capital must go up.
Thank you
and
so
then
much.
starting with FCT that we legislate for. And then the current budget, you can see the difference. This is one of the period where we are beginning to experience higher capital provision than recurrent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if we are a rubber stamp parliament, why have we not passed the tax bill? In the House, we are not even done second reading. The truth is that when you share a common passion, the common vision, the commitment and dedication for the betterment of Nigeria, you don't need to fight. You actually get more through mutual self-respect, negotiation and dialogue than insulting each other for the satisfaction of the media. So we are not a rubber stamp parliament.
Thank you very much. I'll go back to the right honourable speaker.
On the same issue of being a rubber stamp parliament, because I'm the minority.
You're the minority, very
Now,
clear.
just to add to that, I believe that what Nigerians expect to see is where we are fighting before the public in the floor of the parliament. But I want to say that yes, we disagree. We fight in-house and discuss issues properly at the executive session. Sometimes, if it is necessary, we exchange blows. But when we conclude with that, then we can come to Parliament proper. Because today, we have 7 opposition parties as against what we used to know before now. So it's a special tent assembly that you are seeing. What you are seeing outside, that it appears everything is rosy, we disagree. And that's why the tax bill is still pending in the House.
Thank you so much. Right honourable speaker.
Somebody asked a question that we need to guarantee that this kind of engagement. I want to assure you, my brother, that this same question was asked in July when we engaged the youth of the country. I promised them that every year we'll have 2 engagements, at the middle of the year and at the end of the year, and to God be the glory. We delivered that promise just a week or so ago. And I want to assure you too, and assure the Nigerian people, that this kind of engagement will be taking place twice in a year. The choice of December for this program is deliberate, because December marks half of our legislative year. By June next year, we should be wrapping up the whole legislative year. So we'll have more issues to discuss. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you in the month of June 2025.
One moment, please. This is from Professor Konji. At a public event last Monday, the House leader told us that there are some elected members who absent themselves from their seats. And he's saying, please do something about that so you don't tell us that again in public. That's very good advice. The other point, of course, from what the minority leader has said, he said that sometimes they fight, but it's not in public. So I suggest to anybody aspiring for elective office, please acquire some boxing skills. You just might need it.
Thank you very much. I do. I've been informed that we have Honorable Philip Agbese, Deputy House Spokesperson, here. Before I go to our former leaders, can we please take the microphone to him, Honorable Philip? Yes. Please give him, yes, thank you so much, yes. Make it short, sir.
Thank you very much, the Right Honorable Speaker, leadership, distinguished honorable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I want to touch on two things earlier mentioned. First and foremost, I want to start with my immediate constituency, which is the question raised by the NUJ National President. As a parliament under the leadership of His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, we are taking seriously the issue of journalist welfare. And as part of that, we started by ensuring that we provide adequate support services to the press corps members covering the National Assembly, and to also show that we are doing well. The immediate past chairman of the press corps of the House of Representatives, through our support, is now the chairman of the FCT chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists. We're equally partnering as a parliament with the National Institute of Public Relations. One of the issues before now that we've been discussing is the issue of government agencies appointing trained public relation experts as spokespersons. I'm happy to inform this gathering tonight that under the leadership of His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, the 10th House of Representatives has the chairman, who is the spokesperson of the parliament, as a member of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, and myself, the deputy spokesperson, also as a member of the National Institute of Public Relations. But equally, please, before I go, let me talk.
Can you round that up?
Okay, I'll round up. Let me speak just briefly on the issue of citizens' engagement, because that is also very important, and it is one area that His Excellency the Right Honorable Speaker and the Parliament who have done quite a lot, and Nigerians are happy. And to buttress that point, in law they say the facts speak for itself. That is the gathering that we're having tonight to discuss with Nigerians. This Parliament is one you can easily describe as a town hall, because we are always open to Nigerians as a people's house who are everly engaging, discussing the progress of this country.
Thank you very much, Honorable Philip Agbese, Deputy House. We are now going to move on and listen to the former presiding officers who are in the House. And we have sat quietly and listened to the engagement and the conversation of today's State of the House 20 citizens engagement. Initially, I did introduce just the person, but I would like now to bring on the former Speaker, the only female, the Right Honorable Patricia Ite, for her comments. I think the microphone should go to you. Can we bring the microphone straight to her?
Yes, I've got one. Thank you.
Yes, Right Honorable.
Let me first of all appreciate Mr. Speaker for extending the hand of friendship to the former presiding officers to be here. On behalf of us present and those that were not able to be here, I want to tell you that we really appreciate you and we are with you all the way with all the things you've been doing. Now, there are some issues I'd like to raise to assist the 10th Assembly, most especially in the area of communications between the National Assembly and the citizens. I believe the gap is too wide. And what we are doing today is one of the areas where we can actually, bridge the gap. But I believe we can do more. How can we do more? It's just in the area of making sure that all these bills passed, there are so many, and I know that they are for the citizens of this country to improve Nigeria as a country. How will it go down to those people that we pass this bill on? I will advise that probably we can do it in such a way that we do it in various Nigerian languages. The people that you are communicating with are majorly illiterates, and also the children. The elites that understands what you are doing, they are not more than 20%. So the balance of 80% have been locked out. So please let us look for ways and means how we can reach the grassroots. That will help the National Assembly vis-a-vis the House of Reps a lot. Then we talk about the gender. My sister, you have really mentioned virtually mostly all the countries that have gender equality. But there's a missing link. The missing link is it can only be achieved through legislation. Go back and study their legislators and have your partner among them. They will tell you how they got to the situation they had today. I remember when I was in the House and this kind of a bill came up, my brother that sat next to me on that day, when I wanted to talk, he quickly pinched me and said, please don't raise the issue. Which of these men you do not like to come back? And honestly, it makes sense. But we are talking of equality at the parliament. How is it being achieved? They gave women of those countries some leverage through legislation. Please, I'll see you later, then we'll discuss on that issue.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Then the issue of security and economic reform. Nigerians honestly want to hear something very concrete about security. I'm quite sure that a lot of people cannot sleep with their two eyes closed. How can we do this? You've done a lot. There's no doubt about that. But the communication is not really reaching those people that wants to hear from you, sir. Mr. Speaker, if it means creating another ad hoc committee to see that all these languages are entrenched into your laws that you are being passed, most especially the ones that are very germane, please let the people that are really interested know something about it. It will give you a mileage, and definitely. Nigerians will love a National Assembly for doing that, rather than for them to believe that they're not really doing something they're supposed to do. And we know that you've done a lot. If you don't tell us, we appreciate that. But let's the people know about it. God bless you.
I hate to break in, but yes, we don't have. Thank you so very much. Germaine points have been made.
Just before that gone, just to let the House know that the governor of Borno State, Professor Zulumbi, is here with us.
Wow.
Let's give it.
Where is he? Okay. All right. Well, We have just listened to the comments and conversation from former Right Honorable Patricia Ite, former Speaker. We also have with us the former Speaker, Right Honorable Dogara, who is here, and sir would like to listen to your comments, just to let us know that we have less than 10 minutes to be on live television. So please let's welcome him very warmly and listen to him. And I'm sure the cameraman you're blocking him. Thank you.
The Right Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, my leaders, members of the National Assembly Management Staff, my Speaker and my Deputy Speaker. You know, every speaker has his own speaker. So, I think I'm here putting on two caps, representing myself as a former speaker, and then as the secretary of the former National Assembly Presiding Officers Forum. And I wish to extend the apologies of some of our leaders who are unavoidably absent, and they would love to have been here, but unfortunately they are not within Abuja. And I have the authority to thank the Speaker. We're here because of the special relationship that we have with him. And to commend the House for deciding that we should have this kind of forum where the House, the institution of the House of Representatives is being returned to the rightful owners. It was Confucius that told his disciple, Tekun, that three things are essential to governance: weapons, food, and trust. And he said, if a leader cannot hold on to the three, let him first cast away weapons, then food, but he should never cast away trust. And this thought still convinces today. We saw how the Taliban foot soldiers simply melted and disappeared because they lost trust in the leadership of Taliban. And in the World War II, those of us who are students of history, we saw that food rationing didn't change anything much because the people trusted their leaders. So there's no better way of cultivating and deepening trust with the people we represent than speaking to them or engaging with them. As a matter of fact, in those days, I used to think once you are elected as a parliamentarian or legislator, you will have the irrefutable consent of your people to speak on their behalf. But with these innovative approaches of the present leadership, I've seen that I was wrong. Perhaps if I have not spoken with them, I may not have the right to speak to them or speak for them. And what we used to do is either we're talking to them, we're speaking for them, but we will never speak with them. And this has given us the ample opportunity as Nigerians to engage face to face with the leadership of the House and by extension the entire House of Representatives. So this is commendable. And I want to suggest that doing it just in Abuja may not serve the desired purpose. But having been a leader here, I know where the dead bodies are buried. But if we have the funds, we can escalate it to zonal levels, where the speaker can lead his team to engage people of the Southwest, South-South, Northwest, Northeast, and North Central, and then get to know their feeling. And the last thing I want to say is that after that, we need the courage to convey the feelings of our people in clear and unmistakable terms, most especially to the executive that were called to oversight. If we lack the courage to do so, then this exercise is useless. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so very much. There's a consensus of opinion there. This innovation must stand the test of time. This innovation must stay alive. This innovation must be cascaded to the subnational so that every Nigerian feels and knows that I can actually meet with my parliamentarians, and the element of trust which has come up would be one which will be subsumed in the motion that Nigerians can rely on their parliamentarians.
To ensure that every year, 2 times in a year, will create an opportunity for all Nigerians to ask for questions via this kind of platform. And we'll also go back to the House and also advise all our members that this kind of initiative, go to your own constituencies and try as much as possible to do it twice in a year. Get the inputs, get the feelings, get the problems of your people, so that when you come back, you'll be more informed about what to contribute to your own people on the floor of the House.
And those were highlights of the citizens' engagement by the leadership of the House to wrap up the year 2024. The House hopes to sustain the momentum in the new year 2025. And that brings us to the end of this episode of the program. Do join us again for another episode. I am Itaire Ikben. Compliments season, and bye for now.